Alright, so this is kind of an impromptu video. I'm out here in the garage messing around, cleaning up, tearing the car down. And I figured it'd be a good time to do another year-end update. I'm going to make a couple of changes this winter, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys what it takes to get a 2-valve 4.6 into the 8s. I didn't ever think it was going to go that fast, honestly. Extremely happy that it did, and I guess I'll go over the list of shit it took to get it there. It's not really that crazy. It's pretty simple, actually. I think a lot of people don't give these engines the credit that they're due. They're a lot more stout than people think they are, or assume they are, just because they're shitty when they come from the factory. But anyways, I guess I'll start at the front and then kind of work my way back again. I know most of you guys that follow my channel already know what's done to the car, but this is for someone who maybe doesn't want to go back and watch all of my update videos and listen to me talk, whatnot. So it's a 4.62 valve. I've actually got the block right here on the stand. Texted block. It's bored 20 over. It's obviously it's got ARP main studs, ARP side bolts. The bearings are stock replacement King. King bearings are not the high performance bearing. They're just the standard stock replacement bearings on the mains. What else? All right, so we'll go over here and look at the pistons and rods. So it's a mess over here. I've got everything, kind of all the tools strewn out and whatnot. Running a stock Cobra crank. They're forged from the factory. I know people have made well over 1,000 horsepower on them. Nothing special done to it. It's standard. The journals are standard. It's never been turned. I had the machine shop micro polish it before I put it in the engine. There's the main caps. Got stock main caps in it. Nothing fancy. Rods and pistons. These are I had an MMR 4.75 stroker before I built this engine. I killed the thrust bearing in it. The only thing that I could forge from it was the only thing that I could salvage from it was the rods. So when I was building this engine, I figured, we'll see how far I can take these things. They're standard. I think they might be 4130. They might not even be that strong. I-beam rod. MMR rates on the 750 horsepower. They don't state whether it's at the wheels or whether it's at the crankshaft, which is kind of skewed if you really rated something like that anyways. I made 740 to the tire, which is based off the math and how loose my converter is, and based off Wallace Racing for my mile per hour in ET. I was making right around 920 at the crank. So these rods are fine. They hold up fine. Standard wrist pins, Wiseco pistons. They've got the valve reliefs in them for the standard PI 2-valve heads. The ring set that comes with them is a stainless top and a Napier cut second ring. The compression ratio, the static compression ratio with these pistons and my heads is right around 10-to-1. Alright, we'll move over. I don't want to make this too crazy long. Got the oil pan, Moroso, 8-quart, 7-quart, something like that. Oil pan. Got the Moroso windage tray. Not a huge fan of it because you have to run 2 gaskets because it makes between the block and the oil pan. But it worked fine. I'm gonna keep it. Moving over here, I got my heads. These are ported 2-valve heads. They are ported by DSS Racing. DSS used to dabble in porting these heads. They don't port them anymore. I've had these heads for probably 5 years. Been through a couple iterations of tearing them up and having them repaired and whatnot. Stock valves. The intake valves are the lip is ground off of them for extra piston to valve clearance. The chambers are not worked on these heads. These are the port match heads from DSS, so The only thing they did was open up the intake runner, which I'll show you. They opened up the intake runners. As you can see, these are a lot more hogged out than your standard 2-valve intake runners. Can't really see down in there, but the intakes are opened up. The exhaust ports are opened up. They have like a D shape to them. I don't know if I can get to it. Don't want to drop this head. All right, see if I can look at the intake or the exhaust ports. Here's the exhaust ports. You guys probably don't really care, but they have a D shape to them. It's supposed to help with flow or something. I don't know. I'm no expert. Camshafts are a custom ground camshaft. The specs were done by Todd Warren, also known as NASVT, off Facebook and some of the Mustang forums. I sent him in what turbo I was running, compression ratio, blah blah blah, all my specs, and he spec'd out these cams. I want to say off the top of my head they're like a 230, 232, 233. I think they might be 550 or 575 on the lift on the intake and 550 on the exhaust lift. The lobe separation is a 109, which according to some people you speak to, that's kind of backwards for a turbo cam. But as you can see by my results, they're evidently working. So I wanted to get the trick flow heads this winter, but the money is not there for them, so I will continue to run these heads. All right, so that's kind of the rundown of up to the heads on the engine. Got the intake over here. It has a Edelbrock single plane short runner intake that I hand ported. The turbo kit is an On 3 Gen 2 turbo kit. Right here has a precision 46mm wastegate. I upgraded the On 3 wastegate. Never had an issue out of it, but I'd rather have the peace of mind of having a good quality wastegate on it. The turbo is a precision 7675 billet wheel journal bearing. Nothing special, basic off-the-shelf stuff. There's a lot of other junk over here. I have the 6061 intake elbow with a 75mm throttle body. Nothing else really over here to talk about that really has anything to do with how fast the car is. Moving on back, I do not have the transmission anymore, but the transmission that I ran all of my past times on, including the 8.8 at 149, was a 4R70W that my friend Cameron Powers went through and fixed up for me. We had a couple issues out of it, put a couple of parts in it, fixed those issues. The converter was a Circle D 4C, I believe. 4C was the stall of the converter, which I had it built when the car was supercharged, so it was kind of loose on this turbo setup, but it worked okay. Probably could have went a little bit faster with a tighter converter, but the plan is to go to a TH400 this winter, and I'm having Circle D do a new converter for me that should work a lot better on the turbo setup. Moving on back, the car has a narrowed 8.8 rear end with, narrowed 8.8 rear end. The drive shaft was a steel drive shaft. It's 1350 U-joints. I've got a bolt-on brace on the rear. It has Strange 35 spline axles, a Strange 35 spline spool in it, 355 gears. For suspension in the rear, it has Team Z double adjustable lower control arms, Baseline Outlaw relocated upper control arms, Team Z Fox body drag springs, Viking double adjustable shocks, and that's really it for the rear. It's really nothing. It's nothing crazy, nothing special, nothing that anyone else can't do in their garage. The fuel system. Also, I was running a Mickey Thompson 275/60 Pro radial on the back with what kind of rims are these? These were originally silver. I had them powder coated black. They're Billet Specialties street lights. Really, really nice rims. 5/8 studs. I guess the only thing I got left to talk about really is the fuel system. I'm not going to pop the truck right now because I got crap sitting on top of it, but the fuel system is, the car's on E85. The fuel system is a Division X hat in a Cobra tank. It has twin Walboro 465 pumps, a -8 feed, -6 return, Holley 160-pound fuel injectors, and ECU is a Holley HP. I've got the Holley digital dash over there. For boost control, I use a boost leash slash pulse leash. Basically, it's the boost controller and bump box built into one. There's the old shifter. I'll be getting rid of that for a shifter for the TH400 when I get it. The car has a Maximum Motorsport 6-point roll cage in it. We're probably going to be upgrading that this winter, as we're going a little too fast for it. It's only rated to a 10.0 in the quarter mile and 135 miles per hour. And we're going a little bit faster than that. My best time in 8th mile was a 889 at 149. And my best, I'm sorry, did I say, yeah, that was my quarter mile, 889 and 149. And then my best 8th mile was 564 to 122. I don't believe I missed anything. The car with me in it is 3,270 pounds. So she's not exactly light. She's not as heavy as a stock car with stock seats and everything else in it. She's been lightened up just a little bit. But that's it. I mean, that's all it takes to go 8 with a 2 valve. 26 pounds of boost. And I mean, that's really all I got. Talk to you guys later.